Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, we are continuing our video on this understanding of the principles and the practical application of Tafakkur. In my previous video, I have given you some idea of what we need to do and how we're going to go about with it, and what is the difference between Islamic Tafakkur or contemplation or invocation with other forms. So I'm going to give this idea of how within the framework of Islamic Tafakkur we have Tazhakkur, that is the zikir or the invocation, and we have the Muhasabah. Muhasabah is the inward reflection of our life, our nature, our good deeds and our bad deeds and so on. So these are all linked together. Tafakkur, Tazhakkur and Muhasabah are linked together. So let us go back to our handbook, Positive Islamic Psychology, and we go to this aspect where Professor Malik Badri he wrote a book, there's Contemplation in Islamic Psycho-Spiritual Study. So what he described is that while the words meditation, this is some summary from his book, which we use it in our handbook. While the words meditation, contemplation, reflection and cognition seems to be nearest term available to the expression of Islamic form of contemplation or tafakkur in Arabic, they do not give its true Islamic religious dimension. In fact, using the term meditation to explain tafakkur may be misleading. This is because the aim of tafakkur is necessarily spiritual in nature, as it is refined form of worshipping Allah by appreciating His creation in His vast universe using rational mind, emotion and spirit. Alright, so there are 4 steps in which Professor Malik Badri explained. Islamic contemplation can be categorized into 4 stages, 4 interconnected stages. The first stage is knowledge of the contemplated object comes through the sensory perception, directly or indirectly, through our imagination or our fikir. Such information can be purely mental and often have no relation to the emotional or sentimental aspect. So basically the first stage is contemplation of objects, that means creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It could be contemplation of the sunset, it could be contemplation of the flower flowering, or contemplation of the ants, like Sayyidina Ali. He will contemplate for hours and hours on how the ants make their nests and how they get their food and so on. So he contemplated over the ants and he saw the glory of Allah in the object of the housing or the movement of the ants. So what we need to do is, that is the first stage. We can look at the contemplation of this universe, how Allah made this universe so great and vast that we are not even just a pinhead. It's smaller than a pinhead. Our world is, especially in the whole physical universe, we are less than 1 atom size. That is how small we are. So the second stage of contemplation involves fine appreciation, delicate feelings and powerful fashion. You feel the ecstasy. It starts when a person begins to take a closer look at the data, inspecting their aesthetic aspect and particular qualities, and shift mere perception to a state of wonder and beauty. So as you go further and further in looking at as what Allah tells us in Al-Quran, looking at over the creation of the heavens and the earth, the alternation of the day and the night, of the change of the weathers and the clouds, of the rain cycle where Allah gave the rain to a desert or an area that is dead, and the flowering of plants and so on. So all those are contemplation that's repeated hundreds of times in Al-Quran. Why? Allah wants us to contemplate on His creation, so that you can understand Him as the creator. Alright, so you sense the sense of ubudiyah, the sense of submission, the sense of submission and the sense of appreciating the grandeur or the greatness of Allah. That means His absolute nature, one and only God who created everything. And from then you feel closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's where we come the idea of shuhud, understanding. There's come the idea of loving. We have this mercy and love from Allah, Ghafurul Wadud, and from there you can develop a relationship of being close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time through your contemplation. Alright, the third stage, the meditator cross the boundary between the created object and contemplation, and he carried away by the feelings of submission and appreciation of Allah. And the fourth stage is the spiritual cognition taking place of the refined meditation or the refined tafakkur, in which he continued the remembrance of Allah, and that become part and parcel of his life all the time. So for Muslims who are the great scholars, great imam, every breath is a remembrance of Allah. They always remember Allah sitting, standing and reclining, just what Allah tells us in Al-Quran. So they always continuously remembering Allah in their waking hours. Even when they are sleeping, their heart is beating Allah, 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 Allah. And the moment they become conscious, it is Allah, 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 or La ilaha illallah. As they breathe in, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah. And you can see they are constantly in zikr. This is where we got Tazhakkur. From Tafakkur, it becomes Tazhakkur. Tazhakkur is the invocation or the zikr of Allah that constantly bring you closer and closer to Allah until your whole life is in relationship with Allah. Just like Imam Ghazali says, you reach a stage of love of Allah, where Allah is everything to you. So that is a stage of Muhabbah, or the stage of wadud, for Allahu Ghafurul Wadud. So Allah gives His love to you and you love Allah. This is in the Quran, where you have this love, ashaddu, intense love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for those who are in the state of Tazhakkur. Alright, from Tazhakkur, you also must have this idea of Muhasabah, because Tafakkur and Tazhakkur needs a change, and the change is through Muhasabah. We change ourselves from the lower nafs to a higher level towards trying to become a better person. So if we are lazy, we try to become more conscious of our work, for example in terms of productivity in our life. If we are lazy in ibadah, we try to do more ibadah, and so on. So Muhasabah is a process of self-reflection, inward looking, that links back to Tafakkur and then links back to Tazhakkur. So if you can understand this, how it functions within the system of Islamic psychology, I explained to you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the spiritual, emotional and mental self. We have our, from the realm of Allah, Allah created our mind, that is the akal al-kulli. Within our mind, we have the al-akal al-juzi, that is our conscious, subconscious mind. So they are all linked together. So when we talk about tafakkur, we are using from the conscious to the subconscious to the supraconscious, and it's all linked together. So you get the sense of ecstasy, the sense of feeling of happiness, joy, and the sense of fulfillment through this understanding and this aspect of Islamic meditation, which is the greatest and the best way of achieving peace, happiness, success in this world and the hereafter, inshallah.